Hi, Kayla. We are so excited to have you here on the Power of Women Wellness podcast. Please introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do, and what got you into the industry that you're in.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here too. My name is Kayla Adamson. I am on the Space Coast of Florida. I am a top producing real estate agent here. I live with my husband and my two daughters. I just love everything about my career. So I'm excited to chat about that with you guys and everything else with all the other questions that you have.
Yes, perfect. And so, you're a busy mom. You're doing it all. You're spinning all the plates.
Yes, I wear a lot of hats.
I love that. I feel like that's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you into real estate?
So prior to real estate, I was actually a deputy sheriff, complete other end of the pendulum of careers.
But
I got to know yes, absolutely. But I got to know my community, the neighborhoods, all of the people, and I loved that interaction with people. So I thought the next best career move could be real estate.
Oh my gosh, I literally forgot about that. How long was that ago?
Oh my goodness. I left in 2016.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's been a while. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
girl's not good at math. So everyone watching can subtract 2016 from 2020.
I'm not either. I'm not either. That's all. It's like, wait, what is that? Is that 6 years, 7 years? Anyways, that's a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but that's awesome. Share, if you are open to it, share with us any like health things that maybe you struggled with in the past. Cause one thing when I asked you, I'm like, you would be a perfect person for this, not because you had health issues, but I just know how much you emphasize like health and like that's just a priority for you, which is amazing. I can't say that for everyone. And so being a mom and a realtor and especially killing it at your career, I know you put health first, which I love. So do you have anything that kind of pivoted you into loving health, putting that as a priority, even if it's not a diagnosis, but maybe symptoms that you struggled with in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. So luckily, currently, I don't have any health issues, but I got into the health journey in my early 20s because I grew up in a lower income area and health was not a priority whatsoever growing up. But luckily, my mom never took us to well visits or anything. So we didn't get on that clock of ADHD medications, over vaccinated and all of that stuff. So luckily that was a blessing in disguise.
That's true.
But yeah, I thought I knew everything health related in my early 20s because of course you're just naturally young, so you feel better. And symptoms of an imbalance didn't catch up to me until about 2019 when I decided to be a realtor, be a mom, and open a coffee shop and do a million different things all at once. And stress kind of took over, and candida overgrowth took over, and a parasite cleanse was up next, so I had to do all those things to get back balanced in 2019. But even though I thought I knew everything, you really don't know everything until you go through that. And it helps you dive deeper into living healthy and really paying attention to gut health because it's like your second brain and the core to your immune system,
For sure. I know. I remember you opening that cafe, which I remember it's like when I go back to Florida, I'm going to go and visit. But I think it was like COVID, wasn't it? It was like a lot of chaos.
Yes, it was a lot of chaos. It was before COVID, thankfully, because that probably would have killed it. But I ended up killing it because it was just too much. Yeah. My heart is real estate. So I thought, I could open a coffee shop and hire a bunch of employees and I could be kind of behind the scenes. No, I had to be there every day. Believe it or not, it's hard for some people to learn how to make a latte.
Wow. I know, but you had a lot of healthy stuff. I do remember that. Yes. So I love that you were like putting that in the community because if anyone doesn't know, I am from where we grew up in the same area of Florida. So in that area, I don't know about now, but we really needed any healthy things.
We still need it. Maybe in the future when my kids are older, because we were also a juice bar. We had fresh juices. It was super healthy, delicious stuff.
I know. Oh my gosh. One thing I love is I love learning about industries that I'm not familiar of. So I would think the same thing. I mean, yes, I wouldn't think you have to be there every day, but there's probably a lot that goes into it. But for the most part, you hire the right people and you can step out. Apparently that's not it. So I love when people tell me they're industry secrets of how they grow, or I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, this is so crazy, because that's, it's so different from obviously nutrition, private practice.
Definitely.
So tell us your morning routine. You can walk through as detailed as you want. We love details. So things of like, what are you eating? What are you drinking? Are you doing anything with your mindset? Exercise? What does your morning look like?
Absolutely. My morning is a little boring, but boring is stress-free. So I always prioritize water, even though I'm a huge coffee lover. I make sure I have my water first, like at least a big tall glass. I couldn't tell you the exact ounces. I just use the same cup every day.
Nice.
So water, and I'm a big believer in the miracle morning. It's going to be my answer to one of the later questions later on in the podcast, but I kind of do the miracle morning routine, which is just like prayer, journaling, reading a little bit of my Bible. It's really 15 minutes or less. So I know it probably sounds like a lot, but it's not that time consuming. It just helps me wake up. And then after all that, I have my coffee.
Nice. I know that I think that's one of the things I find really interesting. And obviously there's people with super bougie routines like or people with very, very simple. But I think too, when people start listening, like, oh yeah, I journal and Bible study, they think that like takes hours, and it's like, oh, I can't do that. But I'm like, really? I think mine's a little bit longer than 15 minutes. I want to say maybe 30, but I mean, even on a busy day, I sometimes will shorten that, and that's okay. But I love that you just get into the habit of it in general. And that's really what counts. Do you have any devotionals that you do? Do you just kind of do like read the Bible on like whatever you feel led to read?
I just skip around, honestly. I have done a few devotionals. I have the Bible app, and then She Reads Truth. They'll do like 14-day things, but I always just go back to the basics of just my regular Bible. I'll do like a 14-day devotional sometimes, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for just the Bible. Devotions are super fun, and I love them, but for short term.
Yeah, for sure. No, I just remember hearing, I've been loving the Messenger app lately.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. And so I've been listening and watching some of those things. But one of the things that I love that he mentioned on one of the lessons was getting into the Bible, and like, devotions are awesome and workbooks are awesome. But if you're just relying on hearing others teach the word, you're really not getting the word, and you're really not allowing him to speak to you in the way that you should. And so I love that. And that totally like has encouraged me to kind of just pray and say like, hey, show me like what I need to see today. I just like read the Bible and not always rely on like a devotional.
Absolutely, because it's all interpretation too, and they could be interpreting something different than what the Lord has for you to interpret it in that season of your life.
For sure. Agreed. What does your like food look like in the morning? So you got some coffee. Do you eat breakfast? What do you eat on average? Typical.
Yeah, I am a creature of habit. I kind of have the same thing for breakfast every day, except on the weekends. The weekend's a little bit different because I have my girls home from school, but I always have egg tacos.
I love that.
I know. And they're very basic and simple: salsa and egg and a little bit of cheese. I'm not one of those dairy-free people. Luckily, I can consume dairy without it messing anything up. But we do raw dairy in my household. Nice. Luckily, we have a farm that's pretty close by. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
And of course, a few times a week, I throw in some fruit.
Nice. Yeah, I go through phases of like my habits, but I definitely went through a breakfast taco phase where I did like siete tortillas. I know.
Yes.
I think
I do the almond flour tortillas, the siete, if I'm saying correctly, brand. They're so good and they're healthy. Not a ton of carbs.
I love them. Yeah. I think I did like egg, green onion, and then I did not goat cheese that like regular cheese texture. It's the crumbly goat cheese. Yes. And it was like the garlic and herb. That like combination I did for the longest time, and I was
so good.
Do you do anything facial, like beauty in the morning? Pretty basic or?
So I'm pretty basic. I am very picky about what I put on my skin every day. I don't like to absorb a lot of things. So I actually don't do anything for anti-aging. I don't have any daily moisturizers. I don't wear sunscreen.
I mean,
I know.
Understandable.
Yes. I mean, I put on makeup for this, but most of the time, even when I go to work, I'm not even wearing makeup.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm like,
I will say my lips are tattooed and my eyebrows are tattooed. So it's a little bit cheating.
that is a little bit of a cheat.
It is a little bit of cheating. I felt like I should say that. But as far as skin, I feel like once your gut health is on point, I rarely struggle with blemishes, uneven skin tones, and just being out in the sun. Florida, hello, we're so lucky. It's just like natural, clear, glowy skin. You don't really need much.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I actually don't wear a lot of makeup at all anymore, which is so nice. Even if I have the occasional like breakout or something from good old stress, I try to like,
time of month.
allow it to breathe and just like not overly pack my face. So I'm with you on that. I even think every esthetician I talk to, I mean, they'll say the sunscreen part, but they also like recommend keeping it pretty simple in the morning. I think nighttime tends to be a little bit more like in depth, but I always hear just like washing your face and putting like an antioxidant, like a vitamin C serum. And I kind of always stuck to that too, like keeping it really simple in the morning.
I have used a vitamin C serum in phases and seasons because I've had friends who recommended them and like, oh, try this product for this company, natural companies though, that I'm working with, and they're always nice. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite company, like the natural brands, any ones that you've tried that you really love?
I don't, and I've tried all of them. I swear, Crunchy, Beauty Counter, Lime Life, I've tried all of them. If I had to pick a sunscreen for my face, because some women do get uneven skin tones, I would go with Lime Life. But
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll write that down and I'll put it in there.
I might need it when I'm older.
I know, right? That's so funny. And then, so tell us your nighttime routine. I know family tends to be a little bit more part of nighttime. So you tell us what like winds you down.
So luckily my baby goes to bed pretty early. She's like 6:30 p.m. and she sleeps 12 hours a night. Thank the Lord. Piper usually stays up with me until like 9, but I go to bed early. Like I said, I'm an old lady. So about 9 o'clock, we're both going to bed. But as far as routine, I really, really love an acupressure mat. I actually bought the one you recommended several months ago. So nice. Seriously, worth every single penny. And you can get a cheap one even on Amazon. You guys need one in your life.
I know.
And then I do love my CBD oil at night. I use Cured Nutrition CBD oil. I don't think there's any THC or anything like that in it. I just felt like I should throw that out there in case people don't know what CBD oil is.
Like, I don't think it does.
I know.
As Kay is super happy by the end of the day.
I know. It's at night. It helps me sleep. Yeah. And then magnesium lotion. I am crazy about my magnesium lotion at night.
Do you have a certain one that you love, like a brand?
I do. I should have brought it over here.
Is it Ancient Minerals by chance?
No, it's not Ancient Minerals. I'll think of it in a second.
Okay, because I know that's a really popular one. Earthly, okay.
Earthly, which is a popular one too.
Earthly, okay, cool.
And they sell a smaller container, like if you just wanted to test it out, and then they have a bigger one for the people who are obsessed with it.
Nice.
But magnesium is so important for so many different things in our bodies.
Yeah.
And with these new filters for everyone with their water, of course you want clean water, you're not going to drink tap water, but we're really lacking minerals. And I do take a mineral supplement twice a week. I don't like taking stuff every day, but twice a week I do take a nighttime mineral too.
Nice. I know. I love especially with magnesium, I love taking it just different ways, like switching it up, like doing it topically, doing it orally sometimes, doing different types of magnesium, different kinds, like glycinate, citrate, just kind of depends. So I'm with you on that.
I agree. Yeah.
Do you do any other self-care goodies at the end of the day?
I almost forgot because I was thinking like orally. The only other thing I do for my self-care that is like non-negotiable is once a week I dry brush. And I think it is so important. And then, for example, I went and got cupping done just like 2 weeks ago, and it didn't leave like any marks at all, which normally cupping leaves big bruises on you because it's like pulling the toxins to the surface. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're so healthy. It's not leaving any marks on your back. And I think it's because when you prioritize like strong gut health and helping your pathways detox, there's less likely of buildup in there. And I think dry brushing really was the key for that.
I love dry brushing. I remember the first time I did it, I'm like, it's kind of painful, not painful, but it was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is rough. But
I
now it's just
know.
like honestly, it's like the mat, like you do it. And at first you're
Mhm.
like, okay, this is like uncomfortable, awkward. But then like the moment you're done with it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling the difference. I'm feeling the
Yes, like
relaxation.
lighter. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love
Mhm.
mats. What do you do for exercise? And like, where do you put that into your day?
So I always work out at 9:30. I drop my kids off at
Okay,
school at 9, and then we actually have a home gym.
nice.
Lucky about that in our garage. And I work out about 5 times a week, 5 to 6 times a week. I'm a big on fitness. So I know a lot
Nice.
of people probably couldn't fit in 5 times a week. You'd be totally fine at 2 to 3 days a week. But just personally, I'm a 5 to 6 times a week person.
And on social media, I'm seeing more strength training, right? As like your
Yes.
preferred type of
It
workout.
is my preferred, not like power weightlifting. I don't want to look crazy, but just like strength training in general. I think there's a huge misconception that it will make you bulky,
Yeah.
but that's more like powerlifting. Just regular strength training is so good for your joints, mobility, all of it. And I'm always lifting weights in my garage.
Yeah, honestly, it's like the
Mhm.
secret to anti-aging. I tell
It
people like
is.
you lose
It is.
like muscle as you get older. It's just the one thing we have to do. So do you do, I know you prefer strength training. Do you do any cardio?
I
Like
do cardio.
running or
Yeah, absolutely. I run at least a mile a week. I don't do cardio every day, but at least a mile a week because I think it's so important for our heart. I do prefer brisk walks more. One of my husband and I's, our little things for us to spend time is walking on the beach together. So I'll do several miles there, but like fast paced cardio, I do
oh,
at
I
least
love
once a
that.
week.
And
Yeah.
and how do you fit, because this is all about like balancing, which I don't even
Mhm.
know I don't know what the word I like about it is like balancing like work life. I know that's a thing, or integrating like work life. I mean, I don't know the right term that sounds good for it, but how do you make time for marriage and couple stuff and then like mom stuff?
Absolutely. I'm really big on time blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Time block every single day. Everything is time blocked until about like 6 p.m. And then it's just like family after that.
Yeah.
My evenings are super, I don't want to call myself selfish because I know a lot of agents do a lot of showings in the evenings, but mine is really like quality time at home with my husband, with the girls, and at that evening time hour, I shut everything else down. But during the day, it's time blocking. And I time block even working out. It is an
Yeah.
appointment in my calendar, non-negotiable,
Yeah.
because if working out also helps balances your mind, it's a de-stressor. People think that you're going to get more tired if you work out, but it's actually energizing. So it helps everything else flow better in my life.
Oh, for sure. Do you,
Mhm.
I mean, I know that is your industry is just like showings and like, I mean, every day looks super different in how you work. So do you ever have issues with that? Like of people being like, I need to do, like, I'm working, I can only see showings in the evening. And if that, are you just like, we're just not a good fit for each other? Or do you like kind of balance it a little bit? Like, what does that look like?
So in early on in my career, it was hard for me to balance it because I'm a yes person and I
Yeah.
always like to be like, yes, I can do that. Yes, absolutely, I can do that. Yes. And then now I'm like, unfortunately, that time won't work. How's 11 a.m. tomorrow on your lunch break type thing? And people don't argue it. But I've been lucky in
Mm,
our current market, you have to be fast paced. So people were okay leaving work early, going on their lunch break, going before work
mm,
to get to houses, because if you didn't, you missed it the next day. Like you
wow.
had to go immediately. Yeah, you saw
My hair.
it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I know that's a very fast-paced industry. Like, and I remember even buying a house when we were in Florida, it felt the same way. It's like you either have to do it or you missed it. It's very
Mhm.
nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking, but people appreciate boundaries and they
Yeah.
appreciate an agent that's in control. So if you don't even give the option, you're like, we can go at this time on this day or this time on this day, they feel less frazzled and they can just pick one of those times.
Yeah.
I've learned when my clients have more control, they get more overwhelmed with the process because honestly, they don't know what's going on or how to manage it. They need someone else to be that authoritative figure in the transaction. So it works well for me.
Have you read any books, or like what made you really implement and learn about creating boundaries?
So there is a book. It's funny. The title is Boundaries.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's a Christian author. It's amazing. My church is actually doing a series on the book. They just started it they announced it last Sunday, starting it next Sunday on boundaries. And it's just amazing because I read the book several years ago. Such a good book. Everyone should read it a few times. Like every few years, just go ahead and read the book again because you're going to have different takeaways from it.
Yeah. So
and
true.
Then the other book that I recommend to everyone for a balanced life is The Miracle Morning. And they have several different versions. They have the Miracle Morning for real estate agents, Miracle Morning for entrepreneurs. They even have a Miracle Morning for moms. So if you are a mom in business and you just feel like life is hectic and crazy and you don't even know where to start there. Because once you get your morning right, everything else is going to just flow. And it's really powerful.
Yeah. And I've definitely been through seasons of like literally rolling out of bed and hopping to it and like looking at social media and just being like work or just like do. And it's so different. Like I've even felt that when mornings I start a little bit slower or I just prioritize. Like you said, I don't like the word selfish because it's not, you have to fill up your cup first. Yes. And it's just so honestly, the way I interact with people is more patient and more like loving versus like when I'm rolling out of bed and I open my phone, like it's social, like it's just a lot.
Yes.
So tell us like a 24 hours of like what you eat in the day. I know you kind of shared breakfast. What does lunch look like? Dinner? Do you have any snacks that you carry in your purse? What is that?
So I do eat snacks. I am one of those people who like 5 to 6 smaller meals throughout the day versus like big heavy meals because I'm always on the go. But I do try to always eat at home. I know that's hard in our day and age, but just food out and about, you're always going to have an unhealthy option unless you pack from home. And for snacks, I'm really big on boiled eggs, cheese, quick grabs like banana and peanut butter, nuts, stuff like that. And then for lunch and dinner, I prioritize protein a lot. And then of course, a little bit of a veggie and carb and high fats for
nice
for your brain.
Yes. But I love that you mentioned that you still prioritize eating at home because we often hear that okay, it's an excuse. I'm calling it as I see it. That excuse of like, I'm always on the road. I'm always on the go. And I can't I can't always be in my kitchen for lunch and all that stuff, which I get. So if there is like something that you were having like for lunch, like a protein and veggies, would you just pack it with you to go and just eat it, in between showings?
In the car while driving.
No. And that's technically not the best, but
yeah.
But is it better than going out to eat through a drive-through and eating like crap? Yes, that's
totally
still a better
option. Definitely.
So I love that
you're gonna save
you're
money.
debunking that. Yes.
Yes.
But no, I love that you're debunking that because I do think that's an easy thing that we can just kind of say, oh, I just need to go grab something, which depending on where you are, I mean, I'm in Austin. So yes, we have so many amazing like grab and go restaurants here, but I cannot say that for every location.
Yeah, not here.
We need your cafe again.
I know. We have a really, really good natural healthy cafe in Melbourne. But when you're a real estate agent, you're all over the county. I'm not always going to be in Melbourne. Sometimes I'm in Mims, and then it's just gas stations. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Like, I'm fasting today.
That's honestly what my husband would do. He'd just be like, I'm going on a fast.
Yeah.
Do you have 2 top favorite healthy meals that you just love? Like love? Maybe it's in your rotation of your meals or.
I know this is going to sound funny because I said I have breakfast tacos every day, but tacos also for dinner is huge in our house. Huge. If it's my choice for dinner, we're having tacos. It doesn't matter if it's chicken tacos, beef tacos, steak tacos. We're going to have some
Shrimp
kind of
tacos,
taco.
fish taco.
I know there's so many different variations and they're not super expensive and you can make them healthy, which is great. And then I'm also a sucker for sheet pan dinners, especially being busy. There's so many different recipes for sheet pan dinners. And you just throw it on the sheet pan, put some olive oil on it and throw it in the oven. You know, it's super easy.
Do you have a favorite like seasoning mix or spices that you use all the time?
Just garlic.
I know, right?
I know.
I'm like garlic powder, onion powder, salt,
garlic powder, onion powder. We're not huge on salt. I should probably add it a little bit more.
For sure.
But we are huge on garlic and just pepper.
Yeah. I've gotten into smoked paprika too. I love smoked paprika. Or even seasoned salt, which is kind of hard to find. I know we have the Simply Organic one, but it's like paprika and salt and stuff, but I love putting them on potatoes. It's so good. I think last time I could
find that we don't have any. My problem is I like the organic brands and here what's close to my house. I live in North Merritt Island in Florida. Yeah. We have a Target and a Publix. They don't have a lot of organic seasoning. So if I wanted like a seasoned salt, it would have MSG in it.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'm just going to be boiling with garlic and onion powder because I don't have any other options. Unless I ordered it online and got it shipped here, I could probably do that.
Yeah. So I love getting, cause I have always wanted a very organized spice cabinet. So I finally got that. So I now buy spices more in bulk and I buy them mostly all on Thrive Market, but they don't have seasoned salt. So I actually had to buy that one and we have like Whole Foods and stuff around us. But again, sometimes it's like there and not there. So I bought it, I think on Amazon and it's just a Simply Organic brand. And I really like it.
For it when we get off of this.
It is so freaking good. I love just the way it flavors. Honestly, potatoes. That's probably my biggest thing is just whether it's sweet potato or regular. If you have an air fryer, I don't know. It just seasons it so beautifully. Not like restaurant, but it kind of reminds me of that. But you can tell it's like more homemade, which I love.
Yeah, good.
But I love tacos too. I know we are like honestly just keeping Siete in business.
Yes, exactly.
Do you guys do that at least once a week, like a Taco Tuesday weekly?
Oh, probably twice a week, if not 3 times a week. Yeah, but not all beef. It'll be a different kind of taco.
I love that. That sounds good.
But it's super easy with the kids too, because they love it. So
I know. Same here. It is like the meal. There's no fights.
And I'm a creature of habit. So once I get into something, it will just be like, I don't want to say obsessive, but routine. There you go. That's a good word to use for it.
Yeah, for sure. So if something happens in your life that kind of throws you off track, what does that look like for you in the sense of kind of keeping it all together? Like, what are some non-negotiables that you absolutely, no matter what, like, I mean, it could be the craziest thing. A family member dies. Like, what are the things that you're still going to do that you put as a priority? And how do you just like pivot and change for that, temporary season?
Mm-hmm. So luckily I haven't been faced with a big emergency like that yet. So I would like to say that I would just prioritize my morning routine. I think that the morning is a platform for everything else during the day, and then that controls your entire life. So even after I have my babies, there's an event for you. Like after you give birth, I still do my morning routine. Of course, there won't be any stretching involved for a week or two, but everything else I still do. So that's probably what I would prioritize is that morning routine. And then also just staying on track with trying to work out. Yeah. Of course, if there's a big life event that happens, that probably would be the first thing that goes. But even if you could just get like a 15-minute walk in, it would help reset everything.
Yeah, for sure. How did you pivot a little bit when you did have your babies and you had like, a badass little birth that I saw the video for, but
yes.
Yeah. How did that look like?
So I actually took like 2 weeks off of work. I didn't take months, but I took 2 weeks off of work and I really just sat in bed most of it. I really prioritized rest and recovery. And luckily I had a good support system. So I was able to do that. I was at a really good office that helped with showings, helped with my contracts, and most of my work I can actually do on my computer from home. The only field work that I can't do right after having a baby is going to a showing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you, when you, after the 2 weeks and you had a little baby, did the baby come with you to
The
work?
baby did come with me. So both of my children actually go to work with me all the time. They've never been in daycare, neither one of them, which is crazy. Luckily, they're in school now, but even after, they're in like a little church program. And once they age out, we're homeschooling, because I just got into such a routine of them always being with me. And now that they're both in the little church routine, I don't like it. But I like keep talking about both of them. They're 3 years apart. So like I had a little tiny baby and then I had a big one and then a little tiny baby again. But when they're little, I wear them for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then they just get used to it. Piper's so used to going to work with me. Now Lucille is super used to going to work with me. They're so good. And I honestly think that I've scored quite a few listings because they're so cute.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I know. And I love that integration. Same thing. Like we didn't ever put faith, granted, if you can get help, amazing. But at the time when I started my business, like the business definitely wasn't making money. So it didn't justify us getting daycare. So I just kind of did what I could. And I definitely remember being on a podcast, my other podcast, and I was interviewing people. I remember Faith would like come in and she'd be like, I pooped. And I just remember literally, I didn't do video, thank God. So it was just audio, but I remember changing her diaper, like when I was interviewing this person who did not know what was going on. And I was like, this is motherhood and business.
So funny. I definitely have experienced exactly the same thing.
I know, especially when they're so little and you never know if they're going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Or the things they'll say.
Oh, yes.
Is that the guy you were complaining about earlier? Piper, go.
Has that ever happened? Anything?
No, I was just being funny. But they do say the darndest things. Like, okay, here's an example, like an older person who is bigger than me, what she's used to seeing. Why is your belly so big? Like, Piper. Yeah. So,
oh my gosh,
you do have to pivot some comments when you take your kids to work with you.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Do you have, I know you mentioned the Miracle Morning book and the Boundaries book. Do you have any other like favorite self-development podcasts, books, social media accounts that you love following?
Well, of course, yours.
Oh, thank you.
We have to throw that out there. And then if you are a believer, She Reads Truth is absolutely amazing to follow on social media. I think that any women in business could also benefit from that one as well. And then just the Miracle Morning. I could rave about it a million different ways. I actually went to a 3-day conference that the Miracle Morning put on a year after I read their book, because it was so impactful, and flew to San Diego and California for the conference. So if someone is obsessed with something, if they go to a conference for it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially if it's so impactful, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I guess. And going back to your journaling, I love that I've gone on and off of it for years actually, but it's until like the last couple months I've done it every single day, and I'm like, I know this feels good doing it, and the benefits of it. So did you have the same problem of like trying to do it consistently? Do you just feel like, no, it was always just kind of easy, I started doing it and I did it consistently and do it right? Was there I always hear people can be hesitant about it.
Yeah, so in the beginning, I honestly didn't know what to write, and I did struggle with that a little bit. So then I would find like a Bible verse and write it, and then write stuff about the Bible verse. And then it came more of like a Bible study versus journaling. And I struggled with that for a few months. And then I kind of changed it to writing down affirmations and just like a daily prayer for myself. And that really helped. And then once you get past that, just writing down, if you're having anxiety about anything or need to just get anything out of your head, put it on the paper, and it kind of just releases it. Yeah. And it's always good for that too. But I think one of the biggest things in the beginning was just not knowing what to write.
Yeah, I
You
know
know?
that's a huge blocker. And
Mhm.
I've definitely done that as well. And it ends up being more of like my prayers on
Mhm.
in my journal. But also just the other typical quote unquote diary stuff of something that I might be struggling with or things that I'm happy about. I mean, whatever it is, it can look like anything for anyone. And I know that's a huge blocker. And then another blocker that I had was I love journals. Like I will buy all the
Oh my
freaking
gosh.
journals,
Yeah.
but I find that like I actually don't like, even though I love my gel pens and I use like a paper planner, but I don't like writing. So I found that actually an app on my iPad,
Oh,
I stuck with it consistently.
or
It just was really, really helpful. And maybe it's because my mind is going million miles, and I can't
Mhm.
write that fast, but I can type that fast.
That's good. That's really good.
So I just wanted to ask what your way of overcoming that, because I know a lot of people want to, because it is like a therapy on paper, but they get stuck on maybe how to do it, what to write, what to do, and feel like they're even doing it wrong when there's really no wrong way to do it.
Yeah, there's no wrong way at all. I prefer pen and paper, but I've never tried the app, so I might give it a go and see how I like it. But definitely people should do exactly what you did. If you're not into the paper and pen, try an app, and then you might find that you get into it a lot more than you
Yeah.
did before.
Stoic is the one that I really like. STOIC. I'll put that in the show notes too, but that's one that I like because it also has like some like meditations and breathing exercises. It has different formats for journaling if you want something a little bit more guided, of like prepped questions for you to
Oh, like journal
answer.
prompts. Yes, those are
Yes.
super fun, and Target has a ton of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, I love those. And then you can just start blank page as well. But I do like that. And I love how before in the beginning of the morning, they say, what are you focusing on today? And so I usually choose like work. There's like a whole list, like romance, fun, self-care, and they do the prompts kind of with whatever you're working on. So I think it's really cool too.
Ah, yeah, I'm gonna look that up. Stoic. I like the name of it too.
Yes. So we appreciate you so much for taking time talking with us. So how can we support you? Where can people find you? Give us all your goods.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can follow me on social media, of course. I am on Instagram. I am Realtor Kayla Adamson. So it should be super easy to find me. And then
Awesome.
I am starting a YouTube channel, but there's only a few videos on there. So I'll wait to,
I'll wait
I
to
want
promote
a
that.
few more on there.
Do you have a website at all?
I do have a website. It is www.kaylaadamson.com.
Perfect. All right, we'll finish up
Absolutely.
with a lightning round. So it's just a few
Okay, I'm a
quick
little
more.
nervous about this lightning round. Let me
No,
listen
it's super
really
easy.
closely.
All right, one is juice or smoothie,
Oh, juice for sure.
breakfast or dinner,
Breakfast.
tacos,
Yes.
plane or car.
Oh, car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Romper or dress,
Romper.
even though you feel like you're naked when
Yes.
you're going to the
Going to
bathroom.
the bathroom.
But me too. Cooking or being cooked for.
I'm cooked for. I am a great cook, but I prefer to be cooked for. I always joke with my husband that if we could one day hire a private chef, like life would be made. I don't
Yeah.
want a cleaner or a maid. I want a private chef. And then just
Yeah.
life would be made. That's when life would be the best.
I love that. And last one, letters or emails.
Emails.
Yes, awesome. Perfect. Well, I'm so excited that you joined us today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, it was so fun. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.